Chapter 7, the seventh key, vision. How to use your free will for maximum success. World-renowned performance coach and sports psychologist Dr. Dennis Waitley says, "Where we go in the mind, the body will follow." Albert Einstein, one of the brightest minds of the 20th century, says, "Imagination is everything. It provides the previews of life's coming attractions." Free will. Free will is a gift we have all been given. You have the freedom to travel non-physically to anywhere you choose. The way you quote-unquote travel is by giving your focused attention to something. That's what vision is. Doing so creates situations, circumstances, and opportunities that comprise the fabric of your physical reality. This chapter is about focusing in on a vision of yourself and your life that is ideal for you. From your list in the last chapter, you can begin to see where you want to head. Your vision is like a mosaic made up of many little individual thoughts and pictures that create the whole of the life you desire. Your goals are the individual tiles of the mosaic. Trusting what you are learning in this book will help you to rise to the heights of your true potential. In 1977, a 19-year-old girl from Rochester, Michigan, moved to New York City with $35 in her pocket, ready to embark on a career as an entertainer. She worked as a waitress at Dunkin' Donuts by day and performed in dance troupes by night. By 1979, she had landed a role as a backup dancer on a popular disco artist's world tour. After that, she played guitar and sang with two bands. 4 years after moving to New York, she recorded and released her self-titled debut album, Madonna. Her 1984 follow-up, Like a Virgin, went platinum and catapulted her to superstardom. How did Madonna go from a 19-year-old girl with $35 in her pocket to the most successful female recording artist in history with over 200 million albums sold worldwide? The answer is, she had a vision of herself as a successful entertainer, not as a girl working at Dunkin' Donuts. Her vision inspired her to move to New York, where she would have more opportunities than in Michigan. Her vision provided her with inspiration when she had no money and lived in low-end places. Her vision provided the water and sunlight for the seeds of her dreams. Develop a strong vision of your success, and you will realize your dreams just as Madonna has. When Lance Armstrong was only 25 years old and having great success in his cycling career, he was diagnosed with testicular cancer that spread to his abdomen, lungs, and brain. By the time he finally went to the doctor, he was in such bad condition that he required immediate surgery just to survive. The prognosis was grim, but Lance had a vision of healing. More than healing, he had a vision of prospering. He had a vision of achieving his highest goals in life, despite the obstacle of cancer. In 1998, 2 years after being diagnosed with cancer, Lance Armstrong had won the battle and returned to cycling with his cancer in full remission. In 1999, he won his first Tour de France championship. He then went on to do what no other cyclist in history has done by winning the race 7 consecutive times. The previous record was 5 victories. Lance had specific goals to achieve, and his vision of himself on the podium as champion of those races was stronger than any sickness or setback could ever be. How did Lance Armstrong beat the odds and rise higher than he had ever been, following a bout with a life-threatening illness? The answer is, he was focused on a vision of himself as a healthy, strong, and successful individual. He willed the outcome and used intentional thinking to write his own script. Learn from Lance. Focus on a vision of the life that you desire, not a vision determined by obstacles or what anyone else might be telling you. Focus on your vision despite appearances. Wallace D. Wattles, the author of The Science of Getting Rich, says, "To see truth, regardless of appearances, requires power. But he who acquires this power becomes a mastermind. He shapes his own destiny." Developing your ability to visualize the life of your dreams instead of the life of your current circumstances requires effort. Beginning to envision the reality you most desire is a huge part of living the life of your dreams. Despite being gravely ill, Lance Armstrong saw health and prosperity in his future. Despite being a waitress at Dunkin' Donuts, Madonna envisioned a future of fame and fortune. You must become committed to your vision and goals. Actually see yourself living in that new house. Wear the new clothes. Accept the Golden Globe Award. Write yourself a $10 million check. See yourself hitting home runs. See yourself being offered that ideal job. See yourself dancing at your future wedding. Martin Luther King Jr. gave one of the most memorable speeches in the history of our nation from the steps of the Lincoln Memorial in August 1963.
I have a dream.
He went on to explain his dream in great detail. He painted a picture of racial equality and justice for all people. 1 year later, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was signed, eliminating all forms of racial segregation and discrimination in our country. This paved the way for great progress, prosperity, and cooperation in our country. Dr. King was a Baptist minister who became involved in the civil rights movement in 1955 when Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a bus in Montgomery, Alabama. He was living in the racially segregated Deep South in 1955. He wasn't permitted to ride at the front of the bus with white men. He wasn't allowed to eat in the same restaurants as white men. He wasn't even allowed by law to use the same drinking fountains or public restrooms. His children attended racially segregated schools. He decided to create a vision of the world he wanted to see, a vision of racial equality, equal opportunity, respect, and tolerance. He believed so passionately in his vision that he committed his entire life to it, despite the appearances that surrounded him. Learn from Dr. King and commit yourself to the vision you want to see, rather than the appearance of what's around you now. Aaron Montgomery Ward was a traveling salesman who came up with the idea for mail-order marketing. In 1872, he produced a single-sheet catalog for farm equipment at reasonable prices. His associates thought his idea was ridiculous, but apparently, consumers thought it was quite useful. His catalog grew to over 150 pages in just 4 years, and its success made him a wealthy man. He later expanded into department stores you know as Montgomery Ward. What was Aaron Montgomery Ward doing? Was he focused on the fact that he was a traveling salesman or that his colleagues laughed at the idea of a mail-order catalog? Obviously not. He was focused on a vision of something that had never been done before, and he had confidence in his new idea. You are already a powerful creative being. You are creating the reality that you live in, whether you know it or not. This book is teaching you to create by intention rather than by accident. Learn to use your power for your benefit. The fact is that you are already a powerful creative being. This book is about learning how to use your power for your benefit and that of the world around you. Become intentional about what you play on the screen of your mind. Free will is the gift that gives you power over your own thoughts and attention. You control where your thoughts go. As you now know, 97% of people create their visions and therefore their reality by default, simply by what's around them and a lack of knowledge about how thoughts become things. Be a part of the goal-oriented 3% who live the lives they imagine for themselves. Use your vision to see all the blessings instead of all the problems. Now that you've defined specific goals, you can use your vision to focus on the reality you want to create. Use your vision to see the good in other people and in the world around you. Use your vision to see blessings rather than problems. Use your vision to see what you have instead of what you lack. Use your vision to see what you can do instead of what you cannot. Everywhere you turn, there are people eager and ready to tell you about problems. They'll tell you their problems, other people's problems, maybe even ask you about yours. Do your part to make this world better by being more focused on blessings rather than problems. Would you rather have more favor in life or more problems? We both know the answer. Of course, you want more favor. So see it, talk about it, and encourage others to do the same.
I am a messenger.